You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is John Dean, former CEO of Silicon Valley Bank, who took their market cap from $63 million to over $3 billion. Forbes magazine named him as one of the 50 most powerful deal makers.
In your opinion, what makes a great CEO?
Oh, geez. Boy, I should have that all planned out, and I don't. I think what makes and I'm going back to earlier we talked about a passion and commitment for a entrepreneur. I think for a great CEO, there has to be a focus and a passion and commitment. I think also, though, that for a great CEO, there has to be some commitment to core values within that corporation. And why I say that is that the expression that we're all familiar with, if the king sneezes, the kingdom gets a cold. A great leader can't expect people within his or her organization to do the right things if that CEO isn't doing the right things. A great leader has to work as hard as everyone else. A great leader has to set the tempo. So for me, leadership is by example, it's by listening, and it's doing the tough things. Sometimes I like to think of the different organizations. Someone said to me that John's organizations are the most demanding organizations that person ever worked for, but also the most caring. And I thought about that for a while, and I said, geez, that's nice. We're very, very demanding, but we care about our people. And so maybe there's that balance there, and at least for me that worked. And so I would offer it up as a possibility in terms of successful CEOs.
I'm wondering how you find that balance, because I'm trying to think of how I would ask somebody to do something in a caring yet demanding and effective way. So I'm wondering, how do you really balance that?
Yeah, a little different. Maybe I should by a caring institution. I remember at school we were taught, business school, that that you're supposed to leave your personal problems at home and not take them to work. And I would argue strongly that if your employees, if one of your employees' son has been hit by a car, if one of your employees' parents has Alzheimer's, if one of your employees comes to work and has just gotten notice that their spouse is leaving them in a divorce, I don't care what you read in books, those problems go to the office. And that doesn't mean you let that person do whatever they want to, but if you can at least understand the situation and try to work through that difficult situation, I think you'll be able to respect not only an appreciation of that individual from the entire organization. If that individual doesn't perform over time, I think there's an obligation and responsibility to communicate that what the standards are, and that those standards, requirements, accomplishments aren't being met. But once you've done that, I think it's unfair of an organization to keep that employee after, because that employee eventually is not going to make it. So you need to work that employee out of the organization and try to help them to get where they can be successful. You could say that's pretty demanding. I think it's fair, but I think also we've surrounded that by an organization who still treats people with respect, truly cares. So that's how I mix the two together. It seemed to work.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.